Alright, so this video is to guide you with the steps that we can use the JUMP to find the confidence interval. Alright, okay, so again we are using the same example we used in class. So we say we have n sample size 100, right? And then the average of these 100 customers spending is this, so that this is our sample mean x bar with the standard deviation of 5.74. So actually this is the sample standard deviation, right? So then until here you know that okay, we are end of all the information we have. We don't know the population standard deviation. So that means what? That means we have a t critical value, right? Okay, so then in this case, we want to obtain a 90% confidence interval for the population mean of spending. So then in this case, we say we only have these summaries, right? We don't have the detailed data. We have these summaries. So then in this case, how to find the confidence interval by JUMP? So again, we have the easy tools, right? From the help, sample index, right? But now we are not using this distribution calculator anymore. We are not using any probabilities, right? So we want to find the confidence interval. So there is another tool called the confidence interval for the mean, right? Be careful, it is not for the population mean here. This tool is for simulation studies. The one we are looking for is the confidence interval for the mean, right? So click that, open, right? Okay, so here it will jump out a very small option for you, right? So it just asks you that when you input the values, you have the raw data or you have the summary statistics. So in our example, what do we have? We have the summary statistics, right? So then choose the summary statistics and then click OK. Right, so let's minimize these and come back to this example. All right, so then in this case, we say we have the sample standard deviation. So then what kind of interval type do you have? We say we need to use the t interval, right? And then we say if you choose the z from t, what change from the input part? We say we need to enter the sample average, the population standard deviation, and the sample size when you have the z interval. But if you choose the t interval, you don't input the population standard deviation, right? You have the sample standard deviation, which is our case in this example, right? So then in this case, sample average 72.65, right? And then sample standard deviation 5.74, and sample size is 100, right? And then confidence level, we are looking for a 90% confidence interval, so we choose here to be 0.90, and then enter. All right, so then you can see that the confidence interval is 71.69 to 73.60, right? And then you can also get an idea from the graph that the mean here is the sample mean, right? You have the margin of error to the right, the margin of error to the left, so that you have the interval, right, from here to here. All right, and then here you can see the t multiplier. So what is this? This is actually your t star, which is the t critical value. All right, and then here the standard error of the mean. So what is this standard error of the mean? If we review the confidence interval formula, right, when we have the t confidence interval, then where is the standard error of the mean? What is this 0.574? It's actually the s over square root of n, right? So this part is called the standard error of the sampling distribution, in the software, it is called the standard error of the mean. Right? Okay, so this is the lower limit of the confidence interval. This is the upper limit of the confidence interval. All right. Okay, so in this case, we have the summary statistics. All right, so in this example, we only have the mean and standard deviation only, right? We don't have the raw data. But what if we have the raw data, right? So in this case, let me open the raw data, right? So this is the original raw data for the 100 customer spending data. All right, so actually the summary statistics just come from this raw data, right? In the case, if you have this raw data, what you need to do? Go to help, right? Sample index, everything is exactly the same. Confidence interval for the mean, open. But now you do have the raw data, right? So then click OK. All right, and then the jump will just use this raw data, and then you still need to tell, because the jump don't know this is the population or the sample data, right? So then you still need to choose the t interval. All right, okay, then you still need to change this to 0.90 because we are looking for 90% confidence interval. All right, so then you have the sample average, you have the sample standard deviation, and sample size. If you choose the z interval, it will need you to input the population standard deviation. It should be known to you, right? Okay, so then here we still use the t, and then 0.90. You have exactly the same result. Right, so that would be the two options. One is using the raw data, the other one is to use the summary statistics option.